Come on, people, we got an on the rock restaurant to go to.
It's our first night out here in Nai Harn Day. It's beautiful. We love this spot. And they finally rolled out the
Pontoon dinghy dock.
Yay for the floating dinghy dock. Woo! It's a cool one too. Look, and we're literally, this dinghy dock goes right onto a giant rock. How cool is that? We are literally on a rock. Traversing this after a few drinks and in the dark might be an adventure in and of itself.
There is a certain romance in approaching your dinner restaurant this way.
Definitely a unique experience. Look at that.
Ours are pretty big.
Is it good?
What does delicious mean? Plain. No, delicious sounds really good, which means if I would have said it's delicious, it'd be okay.
I am liking this scene. Scout right out there with a number of other cruising boats. Gorgeous. Yeah, that is gorgeous.
That is sukiyaki, which is delicious. And these two have
Wait, pad thai.
pad thai.
First time I've ordered pad thai in Thailand.
How was your meal?
It was good.
The food here is great. The portions are huge, and the prices are amazingly reasonable.
Iron is the best order. You got the massaman with chicken. It's amazing. It's really good.
And it costs
$5. So it's not as cheap as we've seen. But the setting is part of what you're paying for.
what a lovely evening.
Megan's raising the anchor and said it made a sound and then stopped, and now it's not working up or down. So my first thought is electrical. It went down, checked, sure enough we tripped the breaker. So what I think happened, I wasn't up here, is that the up switch got stuck and it pulled itself. This chain is super tight. It pulled itself for a while and then popped the breaker, which is what should happen to save itself. So I have taken these little step guys off. What it looks like underneath here is just a very simple, you just close the circuit, just 2 wires under there that say go, and there's just a little pressure switch here. And I think I've got the up one so it's not stuck, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have Megan go down, pop the breaker, and I'm gonna see what happens up here if it in fact still tries to grind against itself and re-pop the breaker, or if it just works because the switch got stuck.
We haven't waxed poetic about the marriage savers in quite some time, but this is the exact moment when these are so great. Nate's all the way up at the bow, trying with his head in the chain locker, and I'm down in the hole, my head in the electrical. And we can talk to each other without having to yell or run back and forth. There we go. I did it. Actually, it's not sticking in the like fully on mode. Oh, no, it just popped itself back off.
So not too often is the answer just cut wires. In this case, the answer is just cut wires. I just took this is our down switch. It has a cover on it. I just cut this. So what happened is this was stuck on. It was stuck with the circuit closed. So when I cut the wires, now it's not stuck on. We have another windlass switch right here at the helm. The timing of this is actually pretty good. If we were out in the middle of remoteness, I don't think I have a spare for this on the boat. But we're about to be able to be at a spot where I can get a spare. And so for the next little while, we'll just use the windlass up down at the helm, and then I will put another one of these in where the button is not stuck, and we'll be good to go.
hats on backwards. There we go. Last night we went out to dinner and Nate put on one of his fancy shirts, which smelled terrible. We did a little investigation and all of his shirts that were in that one locker, that one cabinet, smelled terribly of mildew. So we did a little laundry this morning and now we've got every single one of Nate's button-down fancy shirts out on the line, hoping to kill that smell. I'll tell you that one load of laundry did not do it, but hopefully the power of the sun will kill that odor. Sometimes it's just not easy being the captain. But being the first mate, that has its perks.
Here you go, Mom.
Thanks, babe.
You're welcome.
Maybe it's not so bad being the captain after all.
Didn't say it was.
No,
There
we
are
did.
Moments of frustration. I will say, I remember watching YouTube videos before I got out here, and the crew, it wasn't always the captain, although usually it was, would just fix stuff, and I remember being super intimidating. It was like, I would have no clue how to do that. And I bought the boat, having no clue how to do virtually anything. And that, which is a relatively minor issue, which now leaves me in need of a spare part, could have been a major issue if I didn't know how to troubleshoot it and resolve it. But you just do it one thing at a time. Like, so a year ago, one of those switches had it was a little finicky. It didn't get stuck on, it got stuck off. And so I took it apart and looked at it and knew how that worked. And so when that happened there, and I knew how the wiring on my boat works, but the point is that I'm making is that it all just comes over time, and you learn one thing after another as it breaks, more or less. And so even if you don't know, wouldn't have done what I just did to fix that, doesn't mean you can't get out here. You just got to have the right attitude, be willing to learn, be willing to ask questions, be willing to make mistakes, and you get there. Lots of day sailors out on the water. We are doing something we did not do very often, coming back to an anchorage. We were headed back into Chlong Bay, and we still have a down switch working on the windlass and the up switch from the helm, so we can actually operate our anchor. That would have been a big problem.
All right, so we mentioned we'd fill you in on what's going on behind the scenes here in Scout, and we've got some big news. I'm leaving, and I'm taking the kids. It's not a joke. This is not a breakup, this is not a split up, this is not me being done for sailing forever. This is a hiatus, if you will. I've just been feeling for a long time that I need a break, and I just kind of had an awakening that I need to do this. I need to go back to the States, spend some time with family, spend some time being creative. I don't know if I've ever shared with you before, but in the past life, in my past life, prior to sailing, I was an artist and a creative, and I am so longing for that again. Sailing takes up a lot of time, mentally, physically, emotionally, and I just have not been able to live into that path. And that's what I'm gonna do for a few months, and I'm gonna bring the kids with me. We're gonna just enjoy being back on land for a little bit. Meanwhile, Nate is going to be taking Scout on a long solo journey.
I am, just as Megan feels the calling to get back in touch with her creative side, I feel the need to keep going, to continue on this journey. And so I'm going to. I'm going to head out of here solo. I've never solo sailed before. Scout is not exactly set up ideally for solo sailing, but I feel confident that I can do it, and gonna see how it goes.
Yeah, I'm really worried. This has been a really emotional decision for me. I've shed a lot of tears over the last few days, few weeks, as I've come to the conclusion that this is the path that I need to follow. And I'm worried for Nate, I'm worried for his safety. I also really trust him and believe in his ability to do it. When he sets his mind to something, he is amazing at accomplishing really hard goals.
I am going to do my best to bring you along in my single-handed journey across the Indian Ocean to Africa and then up the Red Sea. It's going to be hard for me, so I'm going to see how well I can do, but I'm going to do my best to bring you along and give you a window into what this solo sail is like.
Look, I will also say that in some ways I'm quite relieved not to be going on this particular path, this journey, this voyage. I was always going to be nervous going through the Red Sea and having the kids there with me. So this is also an opportunity for me to take myself out of that equation. It's wonderful to have a supportive husband. Not everyone is so lucky as I am, and I realize that. So I feel really blessed to be able to walk this path. Yeah. But I love you.
And I love you too. There are a couple of things that I am doing as a concession to the fact that I'm about to do this trip solo. The forward halyard we have that holds up the nylon sail, code D, which I hope to get me most of the way across, is fine. It's a good line. It's a nice thick line. It's had some fray points that are not in the system of what we're asking it to do right now, but I bought a big fat Dyneema line in Australia just as a spare, just to have, and I'm gonna put it on as my forward halyard. I'm gonna swap it out just because if this broke, something happened, and we've busted one before at sea, I do not think I'd be able to go up the mast and re-rig it, which would leave me with a long way to go. You know, I've got multiple thousand miles between here and Africa, and I am hoping that the vast majority of that is downwind sailing in reasonable conditions, and I'm going to have a nylon sail up. So, doing everything I can to make sure that that system works, and one of the things I'm doing is swapping out this halyard, which I just have to do by connecting the two bitter ends and then pulling it through. So long as that connection point holds as you pull it through, then it's an easy job. If it doesn't, it turns into a real nightmare. So let's hope for easy.
And by the way, what are you doing? Looks like you got a little knot there, honey.
Tangle, not a tangle.
A tangle.
There's a difference. All right, it is. It's not to last forever. It just has to go up and then down. It's as simple as this goes up. I pull it down. When I see this come out of that hole in the mast, winner. If at any point progress on this line stops, I'm sad.
Well, sometimes an easy project is easy. How are you feeling about this upcoming trip? Going back to the States for a little while.
It's exciting going back to the States, but it's not exciting that Mom and Dad are breaking up for the time being.
So Daddy and I are not splitting up. We are just, I'm going back to the States because I feel a real strong calling that I need to be there to do some creative work, and it's gonna be fun.
That I won't deny.
Yeah. You said to leave Scout?
Yeah.
So this big adventure starts tomorrow, and I'm pretty nervous. I'm very sad. It's an emotional time. I've shed lots of tears over the past few days. Eiley, how do you feel about all of this?
I wish it wasn't happening. I wish that we could just stay on the boat, sail to the Maldives, and stay with Dad because I'm gonna miss him so much.
Is there anything that you are looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to seeing my family again. But, I mean, I'm so sad to be leaving Dad.
Here we go.
Watch the time.
All right, we love you, Nate. Be safe.
There they go. I'm excited about sailing across the Indian Ocean. I'm excited about this adventure ahead of me, but I'm gonna miss him. I'm gonna miss him. It's hard.